All right, pleasure to have everybody here. I'm Coach Langford. All of you guys know that. For people that may be watching, I'm the head coach here at OU for track and field and cross country. I'm here with Dr. Nicole Bean. Pleasure to have you, and we want to just get a little bit about what your office does, what you do in your role, and how you serve the university.
Perfect. I'm going to take my mask off since we're recording. I'll try not to breathe on people too much. I've been traveling. But as mentioned, Associate Athletics Director for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I think it'll be a year, June 2nd. And so feel free to bring me gifts and say nice things.
Yes.
But I oversee all of our DE&I initiatives, whether it's creating, implementing education or some type of engagement, not only for our student athletes, but also for our staff. And then we also do a lot of partnerships on campus and then also in the community. Really just trying to promote not just diversity where we're all different, but actually inclusion where we all have a sense of belonging. We know when we feel that way and we feel like we can be our true authentic selves, that's when we perform our highest, not just athletically, but also academically and personally. And so for me, that's really my passion, is just to make sure everyone has a voice, everyone feels heard, they feel seen. And then that way we can be, that championship mindset that we continue to have at OU only continues to excel. And as I said, holistically, not just looking at the student athlete, but really looking at that person. And also for staff, again, a lot of our staff are the ones that are serving and interacting, especially coaches with our student athletes. And so how can we help them and equip them to be able to better serve our student athletes?
Awesome. I think everybody benefits from it, and we appreciate everything you do. And that's kind of why we're here today. We're moving into a program where we're offering DEI opportunities in education for every program. Every program has to do this. We've got requirements and metrics in place that help encourage the growth and help encourage us, to be better people.
Right.
Really, like I said, I appreciate what you do, and like I said, I want to kind of introduce and frame what we want to do today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I know some of you I've seen and interacted with, and some of you are two new faces, and so I look forward to interacting with you a little bit more. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I'll trade you out, and then we're going to bring up one of our guests for the day. In track and field, we experience a melting pot of diversity, melting pot of backgrounds, traditions, cultures. So what better place to shed some light or spotlight on the religious aspect of track and field, the customs, and how it pertains to our sport. So love for you guys to help me welcome Anass Mghari. Come on up. So Anass, talk to me. Where are you from?
So my name is Anass Mghari. I'm from Morocco.
Okay. Born and raised?
Yeah, born
your
and
entire
raised.
life?
Yeah.
Oh man. So when was your first time in the States?
I came here. My first day here was back in January.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. You came here mid-year. Not a transfer, freshman, right? All right. Would you mind sharing your age? How long you spent in Morocco?
So I'm 23 years old. Close to 24. I spent my whole life in Morocco, like the whole 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How has the culture shift been for you coming from Morocco to the States?
There is a big shift. I mean, there was a change, like even in people, like people back in Morocco is not the same, like in the US it's not the same, or Europe is not the same, like in every part of the world. I mean, I don't know how to say that, but it's
just different.
Yeah, it's
right?
just different.
You're used to a certain lifestyle and a certain community where everyone kind of shares similar values, everyone have similar customs, and then you come to a smorgasbord of where am I? From neighborhoods, what type of neighborhood did you grow up in? What did it look like versus you come to Norman, Oklahoma, and what does that look like? Are the buildings higher or?
So like back home, like the childhood when I grew up, it was just like simple, like a normal childhood. Like there is nothing special about that. Just like normal houses, like normal people. But just like here, like the campus is so big.
Right.
So like came in here, like moving on, living traditions, being engaged like with people like the whole time, like 24 hours, like the whole time.
Right.
Like I was using like just like live with family, you know, and not like engage with so many other people. You know?
Right, right.
So there was a big change. Like even the buildings, like when you say that there was no different, like there's a big difference back between here and back in Morocco.
Right.
So yeah, it was like so many different things.
Wow. And then throw on top of that the fact that you speak a different language in Morocco, and then you have to come to the States. So give me your transition from English or from Moroccan to English.
So I came here, my first week, I didn't say a word. So
Okay.
it was tough. It was tough. I mean, I speak Arabic and I speak French. I speak another Arabic language because there's a lot of types of Arabic.
Yeah.
I speak another native Moroccan language, but in English, I was struggling.
Right.
So it was tough. I came here, I met with Coach Phyllis at my first day. I was just like that. She was talking, I was like,
Yes,
it was tough. It was tough.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
So like I was hearing from people like whatever they say, and I was just saying just yes.
Right.
You're right. That's it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it took me a while. It took me a while, like 2 months, 3 months. But as soon as I started, I just like started feeling like it's like I'm home. Like I'm the people that around me are like my families. I started having courage to talk because like before, like in the first month, I was just like afraid, like talking and doing like singing stage like wrong. But like right now, I guess I'm good. But
Good.
I'm still learning.
Glad you're home. Yes. You probably didn't understand. You said, "Okay, coach. Okay, coach." No, I mean that's a transition because think about it, you come in mid-semester and you have classes. And you got to learn those classes, and the professor is speaking English. And I've had some professors in college back in the dark ages, and I wasn't sure what they were speaking. It sounded like English, but I mean, we got so many different dialects. You know, I'm a country boy from Virginia, and I say y'all, and you got no clue what that means. I said mug, and he's like, well, you know, hey, this mug over here said this, that, the other, and you're like, what does this mean, right? So I can't imagine just the immersion just in classes and the different dialects of English and everything else you had to go through in a semester and still maintain good grades for eligibility and everything else. Whew.
It was tough. I mean, at first days of my classes, I wasn't understand nothing. Like I was just sitting there, like just listening, like what is he talking about?
Right. Oh.
That was like for the whole month or 1 month and a half. But like the academic advisor Cara, my tutoring session, like Jenny Jones, like they all did like a great job, like to helping me, like giving me some tutoring session, like just understanding like English, just learning English. So that was so helpful, like for me, like start like keeping up with my classes and my professor.
Gotcha. Good. Just so the staff could kind of understand how you felt. Tell them, hey, I'm very happy to be here. I'm interested in learning all of your names. You know, I'm excited about the season in your language.
My language?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. You're just gonna hear a lot. I'm sorry.
No.
In Arabic.
Yes.
It's been a long time. أنا فرحان بزاف حيت أنا معكم وباغي نتعرف عليكم كاملين and and just saying like what's our names and
Yeah.
فرحان بزاف باش نتلاقى بكم كاملين ونهضر معكم كاملين او غادي تكون مزيانه انه نعرف كاع سمياتكم ونتعرف عليكم كاملين.
Okay, now take that.
Yeah.
And you guys have a quiz on Friday about what he just said. Yeah. Now you know how he felt. Does that make sense? It's like,
It was stuff.
yes, coach. That's all you get. It's like, okay, I got that. I understood that. So, and then sometimes we have to reverse that role just so people understand, like, hey, this is what it was like to be me for a month.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and you know, like I said, that's I honor and admire that because that's courage. I don't know that I could do it, you know, but that's courage. You know, you get through all of that, and then we hit what's called Ramadan. So I got some coaches that'll help us kind of frame our conversation because you know I don't expect you to be the religious expert, you know, just because you know you practice a certain religion or you know customs. I don't expect you to be an expert. So I've kind of divvied up some duties for the coaches to kind of educate the group reading, and then you and I we can discuss it if that's okay. So we got somebody with the first section. Coach Fields, come on up. No, you can stay if you want. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Coach Fields. I'm the distance and cross country coach, this guy's coach. So, all right, so I have the introduction for Ramadan. And here it says, Ramadan is considered one of the holiest months of the year for Muslims. In Ramadan, Muslims commemorate the revelation of the Quran and fast from food and drink during the sunlit hours as a means of drawing closer to God and cultivating self-control, gratitude, and compassion for the less fortunate. Ramadan is a month of intense spiritual rejuvenation with a heightened focus on devotion, during which Muslims spend extra time reading the Quran and performing special prayers. Those unable to fast, such as pregnant or nursing women, the sick or elderly people, and children are exempt from fasting.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks. So this is something you practice your whole life. Okay. At home practicing, I guess, kind of give us what it was like. You know, they kind of broke it up as children and then to young adults and to adults. What were those stages like for you? I guess at home it was just normal culture, and that was just how you grew up. And was it exactly how she kind of read it, described it?
Like back home, yes. It
Okay.
was a little bit like that.
Wow, gotcha. Okay, what about transitioning to OU and coming to Mormon?
So though, like this year was like my first Ramadan, like not with my family. You see, like I spent like 23 years of my life, but just doing every day. Like when it's Ramadan, I'm always like back home because Ramadan we always take it like as a chance so that we can get it as a family all the time.
Wow.
Being at the table, like when it comes to times like we can start eating like at the iftar, we're in the table like in the whole family, like in gathering, like we're just having that you know, we're just having that good time eating, like in conversation and all the stuff. The big change it's obvious. I mean, not having the family with you.
Yeah.
I didn't have my family with me like here, but I got this big family too.
Right.
Also, it was tough, like just the change of like. So back home, I used like Ramadan was. We stay up at night, and we sleep during the day, but not the whole day. But just like we wake up a little bit later, so that we can that we don't feel like that much like suffering, like being like and thirsty, like in hunger, like all the time.
Gotcha.
So, but here, like with classes, I have to wake up at 8.
Right.
So, it was like I will take you like during like normal day, like here in normal day, like back home.
Okay.
So like right here, waking up at 5 a.m. to eat. That was because that's the last meal that I have to eat before like start fasting. and going back to sleep at 6:30, waking up at 8, going to like to school at 9, finish school at 12, going to see the trainers, like if I have to do the session, like if I have something, finish at 2, back to take a nap, waking up like again at 4, 5, going to practice sometimes practice I have it like at 6 or 7 p.m. Sometimes I have it like at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Taking my meal at 8 p.m. So sometimes I say I have the workout like at 10, doing the workout at 10, finishing at 12, eating again. So like you know that when you do like a hard workout at 10, you're not able to eat until like 2 hours after, something like that. So
Right.
I cannot eat until like 2 a.m. So I'm going to sleep at 3 a.m. and waking up at 5 again. So it was like this. It was every day like this. But back home, it was waking up at 11 a.m. Not doing anything.
Right.
Sometimes.
Keeping the energy low, the activity low.
Just sitting. Going to practice at 4, 5 p.m. So eating at 7, 8 p.m. Again, that's the time like for eating.
Yeah.
And just like you just like, so it was kind of easy because when you're
When you're home,
yeah.
the culture is the norm.
Yeah.
So everybody shifts the norm to that spectrum.
Yeah.
And when you're here, you feel like that outlier.
Yeah.
And what was that like for dealing with academics during that time? One, you're away from family. This is your first experience where you're not doing it with your family.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be some sadness involved with that. Some disconnect involved with that. And then, like I said, you still have to maintain everything in your life. And like I said, I have a quiz, I have a test.
Yeah.
That had to be tough. So Zoom calls with your family, a lot of
Like every day, so when they're preparing to put food on the table, and when it's closing the time, they always call me. It's like that call, and just it's tough. It's tough, like seeing them all gathering, like you're not with them. It's
right.
but
I feel like you're on punishment a little bit.
yeah, but it's. It is what it is.
Right. All right. Well, we got another section. Who's got the next section? When does Ramadan take place?
It is me. So
Introduce yourself to the group.
I'm Coach Nino. I think the newest coach on staff started in November. I work with the thrower, shot, disc, hammer, javelin, and so we're gonna do when does Ramadan take place? Ramadan is in the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, which is based on a 12-month lunar year of approximately 354 days. Because the lunar year is 11 days shorter than the solar year, each lunar month moves 11 days earlier each year. It takes 33 solar years for the lunar months to complete a full cycle and return to the same season. The month traditionally begins and ends on the sighting of the new moon. Starting on April 1st, Muslims throughout the United States and the rest of the world will begin to search the sky for the new crescent, or will follow a predetermined date based on astronomical calculation. In this year, the month-long fast of Ramadan began on April 2nd and ended on May 1st.
Woo! Everything you just talked about, and we won't rehash a lot of it, but just looking at that, that's over a month into the outdoor season when you have to, all of this has to take place. I just learned something right there is that, we're 365 days and you're 354 days into a year. Help me understand that one. I feel like, you owe me some overtime.
It's just the Islamic calendar is way different than the normal calendar that you all guys know.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's
Because
11 days shorter.
We follow the moon.
Right,
That's
right,
the thing. Yeah.
right. Wow, I actually, Coach Dino follows the moon. It was a blood moon.
Blood moon.
He's very lunar. He's a lunar individual. No, that's cool, but I do want to move it forward. Now I think you pretty much, it's self-explanatory and when it takes place. The next section is the length and purpose of fasting. So this is one of our graduate assistants, Katie.
Hey,
Introduce yourself.
I'm Katie, and I'm the grad assistant for track and field. And the length and purpose of fasting. Muslims fast from pre-dawn to sunset, a fast between 11 to 16 hours, depending on the time of year, for a period of 29 to 30 days. Ramadan entails foregoing food and drink, and if married, abstaining from sex during sunlit hours. For Muslims, Ramadan is a time to train themselves both physically and spiritually by avoiding any negative acts such as gossiping, backbiting, lying, or arguing. Muslims welcome Ramadan as an opportunity for self-reflection and spiritual improvement, and as a means to grow in moral excellence. Ramadan is also a highly social time as Muslims invite each other to break their fast together and meet for prayers at the mosque. The ultimate goal of fasting is gaining greater God consciousness, known in Arabic as taqwa, signifying a state of constant awareness of God. From this awareness, a person should gain discipline, self-restraint, and a greater incentive to do good and avoid wrong. In commemoration of the revelation of Muslims' holy book, the Quran, Muslims attempt to read the entire book during Ramadan. The entire Quran is also recited during special nightly prayers.
Awesome, thanks. Was that pretty spot on for how you live, how your family moves, and everything else? That's so no sex. That's what you took. That's what you're telling me. So what's the opposite? Okay, I got an edit button. I can edit that out. I'm just reading. It's gonna be a weird edit too. It's gonna be on a straight line. Sitting like this. We're talking about marriage. I'm married too.
No, you can do that. Of course, I can do that.
That's somebody said that's suffering, but so maybe abstinence. We'll say it that way. Abstinence, no food or drink during the daylight hours.
Yeah, but
Good gosh. Okay.
nothing. You should not take anything.
Mhm.
Anything. That's so the purpose of Ramadan was so that the rich people knows what the poor people are suffering on. So that's the main reason of Ramadan, because we all know that outside there are some people that they don't have what to eat, but you're not gonna feel what they feel and to experience the same thing. So that's the purpose of like fasting for 16 hours.
Gotcha. Perspective. I like that. So not only are we getting, I guess a religious practice, but you're also getting a class system, disparity practice as well. Okay. And then, so you talked about, what was I was reading that, no gossiping, no backbiting, no lying, no arguing. That's special.
It's kind of like you discipline yourself. Like it's like self-discipline. Like it's just to learn how to be kind, how to treat people well. It's just like that.
Be like, for me, fasting from social media, or I get it, and food, and okay. Yeah, I know my wife. She'd probably try to trap me in this. Like, oh, you can't lie. So tell me the truth. Do I look fat in this dress? No comment. No, I get. Like I said, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay. No, I get it. Wow. Okay. Let's move on to who fasts. Who has that one? Coach Freeman, come up, introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, this is Coach Freeman. Coach Michelle. Women's assistant, women's French and hurdles coach. Who fast? All Muslims who have reached puberty are obligated to fast. However, people for whom fasting would be a hardship are exempt from fasting. This includes anyone who is sick or traveling, women who are pregnant, nursing, or on their meds, or older people who are too weak or ill to fast. Anyone who is exempt must make up the fast later, except for those who cannot fast due to age or chronic illness. Includes instead they can feed on poor persons or every day of fasting, which they miss.
Gotcha. All right. So basically that's who fast. So how did that apply to you? Because I think when you were traveling, you were allowed to eat, right?
Yeah.
So
So like in normal days there is no excuse for you to eat until like you're sick or like there's like some reason. But like when you're traveling, you're allowed to eat from the day that you left home until the day you came back home.
okay.
So like right now this is my home. So if I'm traveling like, but it needs to be above 60 kilometers.
Gotcha.
So if it's above 60 kilometers, then you're able to eat from the day you leave until the day you came back, and that's what we did. Like the last time we traveled to Miami, so I had the excuse to eat because we were traveling. And
Gotcha.
I have a question. How do you make the fast up? Because they said that if you don't fast at that time, you make it up. How do you do
so
that?
yeah, so you make it up after the end of Ramadan. So when the end of Ramadan ends, so you have like from Ramadan to the next Ramadan to make up all the days that you eat it like during Ramadan.
So you could choose.
Yeah, you
any
can
day.
choose anything you want.
Gotcha. Good question, Coach. All right. Who has children? All right. Yes, the next two, children and family routines. Coach Langley.
Yeah, Coach Langley. Been here for a while. Actually, this guy's the first person he reached out to, so I'm glad we can snag him. Children. While children are not required to fast until they reach puberty, it is customary for children beginning around 7 years of age to perform limited or symbolic fasting, such as fasting half days or on weekends. This trains them gradually and helps to engender a sense of inclusion during the month-long observance. Mosques often give special recognition to children who are fasting their first full day or first Ramadan. Family routines. A Muslim family usually rises around 5 a.m. before dawn and eats a modest breakfast-like meal called suhoor. After the meal, the family performs the morning prayer and, depending on the circumstances, goes back to bed or begins the day. Particularly during the long summer months, people often take a nap in the late afternoon after work or school. At sunset, family members break the fast with a few dates and water, and depending on the culture, other light foods such as soup, appetizers, or fruit. This is referred to as iftar, which means breaking the fast. After performing the sunset prayers, the family eats dinner. Inviting guests to break the fast or going to someone else's house for iftar is very common in Ramadan. Many families then go to the mosque for the night prayer and a special Ramadan prayer called Tarawih. After completing their prayers, the families return home around 11:45 p.m. All of these times vary depending on the time of year, with shorter days in the winter and longer days in the summer.
Cool. And he pretty much read, excuse me, kind of what you had already described.
Yeah.
Like I said, the closeness of family, the opportunity for family to get back together. It's a family custom, a family culture, you know, but also, like I said, where you are, the entire community is moving the same way. So, you know, that kind of drives it home, you know, what you said. Let's go to special activities. Coach Nell.
Hi everybody, I'm Coach Corey Nell, strength and conditioning coach for track and field cross country. My section is special activities. Many mosques have daily community dinners where Muslims can break their fast together. This is a great service for students, the poor, and anyone who desires a break from cooking. Many mosques also host a community dinner on the weekends. Special Ramadan prayers called Taraweeh are held in most mosques after the night prayer. During Taraweeh, the prayer leaders recite at least 1/13 of the Quran so that by the end of the month, the entire Quran will be recited. Since Ramadan is a time for Muslims to be especially charitable, and fasting helps Muslims feel compassionate for the hungry and less fortunate, many mosques hold food drives or fundraisers for charity during Ramadan. Many mosques also host open houses for their friends and neighbors of other faiths to join them for their fast-breaking dinner of iftar at the end of the fasting day. The night power, known as Layla al-Qadr, is believed to fall on one of the odd days during the last 10 days of Ramadan, but is most widely observed on the 27th night of Ramadan. It is considered the most blessed night in Ramadan because it is believed to be the night in which the Quran was first revealed. Mosques are open all night as Muslims hold vigils and prayer, Quranic recitation, and contemplation.
Thanks, Coach. I just learned something that I would love to implement as a program next year if you like.
Yeah.
What do you think about doing a canned food drive next year?
Oh yeah.
You know, because I mean, if we're embracing your culture, I think it'd be great to do that as a program to make you feel even more at home. So, coaches, Coach Michelle is doing student development. We're gonna do that next year, okay? Now, what's actually really special that you know I'm reading and I'm learning that obviously it's about community, about family, centered around the church, centered around the mosque. And they said, so have you experienced some of the dinner breaks that the mosque has put on when you were back home?
Yeah, I mean, I can say like, sometimes if it's gonna be like 3 days a week, because like I live like near to the mosque, so like sometimes you just feel like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to meet other people like in the mosque, and just gather with them, just talking and have that meal like all together.
Yeah.
I had the chance to like to experience that here, like because there is a mosque like who was like just near to the Everest.
Yeah.
But I didn't have time.
Got you. And you know, and another way that you feel, you know, still a little separated.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I think you know we still was it a academic obligation, a track and field obligation? So it was just more academics. Okay. And that's like I said, those things are good to know, especially for you know for our students that are you know abroad and feel so disconnected. You already feel disconnected from your family, you know, as you know, seen as like what you're doing is the outside or the separated, you know, practice. And then the one opportunity you did have is like, oh, I got a test or I got class or you know, that's difficult.
I mean, yeah, especially because like Ramadan it's just not about like eating and stuff, it's about like praying and like be closer to God.
Right.
Like reading the Quran, like going to mosque, prayers and those stuff, but I didn't have the chance to do that here. Like the schedule was like my schedule was full. Like I didn't even have the chance like just to go to the mosque, just had one prayer like in the mosque. So
Right.
that was tough.
Right.
That was tough.
Right. Good gosh. And you know, I guess under special activities, we'll kind of talk about how that ties into your competition because that's special activity. You know, you've got to compete. They don't have many track meets at night. You know, so you got to compete during the day, in the heat of the day, and you know, try to maintain your expectation of hey, this guy's a 148 half miler, and so when we get 157, hey, what's going on? Talk to us about, what that was like, the change in your performance, just due to.
I can still remember like my first workout. I was with Coach Fields, and she gave me it was not just a tough workout, but at the middle of the workout, my body was up. I was like, Coach, this is it. I can't get any more. Like, I'm done. I'm getting dizzy. I'm close to passing out. It was all like that. The first week was tough. It was tough, like for both of us. So at the first competition, like when we went to Miami, I had the chance like to eat like 2 days before because we were traveling.
Right.
So that gave me like more energy like to run in Miami. So, and we did 148, first PR in 5 years. That was a great day. But like after it, we had a home meet here. So
You're not
like
traveling.
here, I'm
Yes.
not traveling. So I have to fast. Yeah, I'm at the line, all good. Like we start, everything's going good, but at the last 250, my body said that's it. Like I can't give you like it was literally like that. Like there is nothing left. So it was tough. Because like I mean there is so many things going on like during Ramadan. So there was athletics, there was academically, and there was like spiritually like with God. So you have 3 things that you need to maintain during Ramadan, and it takes more energy from the body.
Right.
So
It's tough. Yeah.
it was
yeah.
tough.
I can-
That was the reason. After
At Miami, when you ran, your personal record, it was a lot of emotion. You were crying, Coach was crying. You said call Peter. Peter was crying. Everybody was crying. It was crazy. What was that just behind the performance or everything that it took out of you at the moment?
that day, just to reach that day took for me 5 years.
Yep.
I've been looking for that day since 2018, so
Yeah.
it was
Special.
it was so special. Like so far, it's the best day of my life. Honestly,
Good.
like there is so much hard work.
Right. Right. That's amazing.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had a coach that joined you in the fasting part. And coach, you can come up and just talk about what that was like for you. I mean, he's been doing it all his life. You jumped in with both feet and said, all right, boom, I'm gonna do it with you too, right?
Yeah, I chose to fast with him just because I really wanted to get and experience more of what he was going through in a sense emotionally. Like I couldn't even, I'm not trying to perform the way he is physically, so I was just getting a glimpse of it. But I remember, he'll know this story. It was one of our first evening workouts, and I didn't recognize it in the moment, but I was just standing there staring, like just no expression, nothing. Like my mind just wasn't operating. And then there's more to it, but basically I just decided what song I wanted to play. But it took so much time and energy just to decide.
She was standing for 5 minutes, looking at the ground, just thinking about one song. She was just like this for 5 minutes. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this song for the next 1 hour.
But yeah, no, it was so eye-opening to know just how much energy that it takes. Like when your body isn't given carbohydrates, like that is how your brain functions.
Yeah.
And I felt so depleted, and so my emotions were very up and down during that time. And so being able to be there with him in the midst of that and have an understanding of like what he was going through, not only mentally and emotionally, but physically, and understanding like, okay, we have to adjust his training during this time. We have to adjust so many things. And it was a really good learning experience for me as a coach to know, I mean, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is meet people where they're at, you know, and make them feel welcome. And so I was really fortunate too to have several guys on the team that were willing to come out and practice with him and be with him in the midst of those times. So we made some good memories, but it was hard. It was really hard because when you are a student athlete, you have so many demands and so many pressures. And so to be away from home and then also being expected to perform, it's really hard, you know, it's really, really hard. And again, like you said in the beginning, it takes a lot of courage. And so it took a lot of courage, and it's very vulnerable to race in the middle of that too. And I think that's another reason why that 148 was even more emotional, because there was so much building up to it. Not even, I mean, obviously the 5 years, but doing that in the midst of Ramadan, I think, like made it even more special.
Thanks. And Jay, would you come up and you participated as well? And you can introduce yourself, give your role.
Jay Weaver, Director of Operations here with the RE staff. So Anass and I actually talked leading into Ramadan. This isn't the first time I had ever done Ramadan. I have some dear friends from back home. I'm originally from North Carolina, who are Persian, and so I can't speak a lot of Arabic, but I wished Anass well going into Ramadan. I had done it with him in the past, so it wasn't something that was entirely foreign to me. It wasn't easy. I think it's never easy doing that. But we were able to converse a little bit leading into it. And then to echo what Coach Fields said, I can't imagine what Anass is going through, trying to train, trying to do school, also, admittedly, I cheated a little bit. I didn't cut the liquids out, just the fasting. But it was special to be able to do that with him, to be able to do that with Coach Fields. But it does give you a perspective, and then obviously, we have like early mornings and late evenings, but we're not trying to push ourselves physically to a different level. So to be able to do that and balance all those things, plus the academic rigors of coming into a culture that's foreign, coming into an institution where English is not your first language and you're still held academically accountable for everything, and then also trying to find your own spirituality within and become closer to your God. That's a lot to manage. And I don't know if you get like a good job for it, but to be able to come in and assimilate and do that, off only being here a couple of months before having to go through that process, I think you handled it very, very well. And it's not that it's going to get easier, but maybe collectively as a staff, as a program, as an institution, sharing some of this sort of insight with our whole department and the whole student body will hopefully make things easier moving forward, and you'll be able to find more resources and things like that to make Ramadan a little bit easier moving forward. So, but I'm very fortunate to have been able to share the journey with you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. So next we're gonna bring Austin Davis up to talk about special foods. So better guy to talk about special foods.
How you guys doing? Coach Davis, I'm the man that's responsible for filming this. So if it comes out good, I want all the credit. If it doesn't come out good, I want none of the blame. I'm here my section is special foods and the benefits of fasting. Breaking the fast with dates or water is the only strictly traditional culinary custom associated with Ramadan. It is interesting to note the sustainability of dates for this purpose, as they are a concentrated source of energy and easily digestible. Different Muslim populations and countries have a variety of special dishes and desserts for Ramadan. The benefits of fasting: doctors agree that fasting is extremely beneficial for lowering cholesterol levels and for other health benefits. Fasting is a means of purifying the body as well as the spirit. It gives the body a rest from continuous tasks of digesting food. So what are some of those other special service stuff?
There is a lot of things. There is one we call it baklava.
Baklava.
Yeah.
There is I only know Arabic names.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
say it that way. That's how we order it.
Oh my god. We call it what is that name again? Sorry. It's something.
That's a liquid.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
ordering that. You can't say it.
I don't know. There is also the shibakia.
Shibaki.
Yeah. She took some shibakia.
Okay. Well, is it good?
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
Is that the almond thing?
Yeah.
The triangle?
Yeah.
It's basically like a puff pastry, like thin layers, but then ground like almond paste inside of it. I think that's what
Sign
it is.
me up.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, there's a Moroccan restaurant in Oklahoma City
Okay.
called Couscous, and it has all of that stuff. So.
Okay. Have you been there? Have you been to
Yeah.
Okay. Is that baklava good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should try it.
I'll try it. You know me.
Date night's coming.
Yeah. You know me. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, we got nutrition here. Abby, you want to come up? Because nutrition was very instrumental in helping you manage some of this, and just especially the fasting time. And this is kind of, I'd love to hear about you two's relationship and the plan that y'all put together. Just to make this manageable for them.
Yeah, I'm Abby, Assistant Director of Sports Nutrition. I met with Anass back in February because Coach Fields reached out just from the standpoint of when international students come to us, it's a struggle of what they're going to eat here. And so sometimes like my recommendations don't make any sense because it's not what they're accustomed to. And so, he's talked about these like fasting periods, but it's like back at home, it's foods that he's used to that he can eat in those periods when the sun is down. But here, like the accessibility to those foods is very, very different. And so we have to keep those things in mind. And I always try to ask like, what's your favorite food? And he's kind of like how he was trying to explain to all of us.
Right.
Because it is just very different, and you can't just describe it in the same words that we use here because it's so different. So I think that's something we have to take into consideration for these athletes that come and practice Ramadan. Is like, not only are they practicing that, but then the foods surrounding the times in which they can eat are so different here. And even if we're trying to replicate those foods like the Moroccan restaurant, it still may not be quite like what you're used to, like it's close, but it's not quite there sometimes. And so kind of taking that into consideration as well. We were working back in February just to find foods that he did enjoy and find things that were similar and those kind of things. So, but I think in the whole scope of the practice and the whole scope of like helping him, it's understanding that there's a curve in the fact of like what his accessibility is to food, and then not only that, but like around those fasting time periods. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for us to think about is like when international student athletes come to us and they're doing the school part that's really hard and the language barrier, but then it's like the food is not the same. And they will sit here and tell me that, and I'm like, okay, what can we try to do to help you? So yeah. That's my stance.
Did we have in your transition just from Morocco to the States? Did the food make you sick at first, or
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah. Like the first maybe like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like for the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I was just my stomach was just like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I was struggling so much. That's why.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like Arkansas sushi. I didn't know we had that too.
Yeah. So that's when like Coach Fields said that I need to reach out to the nutritionist, I need to go to Abby.
Yeah.
And we scheduled an appointment. I went to see Abby, and we talked about that, like, so this is how your meal like should be like. This is what you like. This is the food that you need to take. Like, avoid this or just take this. But like what she said, like, even though it's still like,
Trial and error.
gosh, I miss food back
Home.
home.
Yes,
It's just like,
yes.
I need to eat something like from my mother, like
Right.
something just take it, like, but like, even though like she helped me a lot, like she helped me a lot, like I've struggled with that, but after like just 2 weeks, like after meeting with Abby, it's like, all right, I'm doing good, making progress, like, let's not focus, like, take this, no, don't take it, like, take it. So it was so helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else about, I guess, the nutritional planning part that might have been unique? And did you have to like leave him a bag at night, or prepare some stuff in the nutrition station that he could just pick up and at the evening say, okay, as soon as my fast is, I'm breaking my fast, eat this, or what did that look like?
We didn't do that, but I think something I have counseled other athletes who have practiced Ramadan before, and I think something to note is some athletes they'll do kind of like we talked about, where they'll make up days more, so they will choose to eat at certain time periods and things like that. As we have heard, Anass did not practice that way. So for me and for other dietitians, you have to understand that certain athletes are going to choose to do it in certain ways, and so supporting them as best that you can from that standpoint, because other Ramadan athletes may choose to make it up if they're in the prime of their season. So supporting them as best they can from that standpoint. So.
And I think that's why, in our program, we choose to give per diem instead of doing so many team regimented meals. They walk into a conference room, or a hotel ballroom where we've catered a meal, and we didn't consider that, hey, it's hot at 6 o'clock, but he can't eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it tastes like a brick at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so why do that? So like I said, to accommodate so many different, diets and lifestyles, we just, hey, here's your per diem, and then they can fulfill their own lifestyle. Because you have people that, hey, I don't eat meat. Okay, all I eat is meat. I'm keto.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't eat after 8. Or if it's wrong, I can't eat until the sun goes down. So there's a wide variety of diets just within our program. So we really backed away from doing so many catered meals and stuff like that, which is the opposite of what we had to do with COVID.
Yeah.
Because there was no going out to restaurants,
Yeah.
no per diem.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm glad, in the sense that you didn't have to go through that, because that would have been miserable for me. Like, Coach, I can't eat, and I gotta sit here and it smells so good. But like I said, the flexibility and working with him, we really appreciate you doing that, because and it educates us as it
Mhm.
helps him. So
Yeah.
thanks for everything you do.
Yeah, of course.
All right. One more section, and this is the fun part. The end of Ramadan. Pronounce that for me one more time.
Eid al-Fitr.
Eid al-Fitr.
Yeah.
I think I said that right. I tell you what, Hannah, you want to come up and do that one?
Okay. At the end of Ramadan, Muslims celebrate one of their major holidays called Eid al-Fitr, or the festival of breaking of the fast. In 2022, the holiday will be on May 2nd. Children traditionally receive new clothes, money, or gifts from parents, relatives, and friends. A special prayer and sermon are held on the morning of Eid Day. followed by community celebration, usually in a park or large hall. Food, games, and presents for children are important parts of the festivities, as friends and families spend the day socializing, eating, and reuniting with old acquaintances. The greeting of Eid Mubarak means blessed holiday.
Love it. How blessed was that day for you?
Like right here.
Yes.
I remember that day we were heading back from what was that?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I was in the bus, and I was just receiving like text messages and calls back home, like Eid Mubarak, and I was like, what am I doing here? It was a tough day. It was a tough day. Like so like the day that we were heading back, that was the day that all the countries say like tomorrow, next day will be the Eid day. So I was just receiving like from all the people, friends back home, like Eid Mubarak and families and those stuff.
Yeah.
Next day, I woke up having a call. It was my mother. And it was a FaceTime. The first thing I saw like back in that morning was like she was saying Eid Mubarak while she was crying. So yeah.
Definitely a blessed day.
And it was like the first Eid like without family. And I was just back in my apartment, sitting in bed. I felt alone, for real. Just talking with them. And there's nothing you can do, you know? So talking to my cousins, I was like, so Eid day was a day like where I gathered with like the whole family back home. So like all the cousins, all my uncles like in one house, and we always do like some fun stuff, going to play soccer, or just like going to the beach that day, like yeah.
It's just
I,
missing. Yeah.
I was just like seeing videos and photos of them, the window stuff, and I was just here like so yeah, it was tough, but
It's like a little, there's depression and then separate, you know, but, you know, and it can almost spill over into anger and resentment, you know, it's like, why am I here? Yeah.
it was like that, and it was a tough day, but again, I had to go. I had like it's just like from my ears, and I don't know how to say that, but and changing going to practice that day.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, it was a tough day, but
And the thing about it, other people could never know how hard that would be, because, like I said, it's a different culture. It's, you know, you're in this foreign land that, oh, it's just Tuesday for me, but it means so much more to you. And yeah, that's hard. You know, like I said, we never know what someone else is going through. And, you know, until you have to walk in their shoes, until you have to live it with them, until you have to get down in the trenches with them and really learn, hey, what makes you tick? What makes, you know, why is today so hard for you, or why is today so great for you? You know, and I think that's the thing that we try to leave even today is, hey, here's what my life is like. And if you can kind of get a glimpse of what my life is like, maybe you'll understand why I act the way I act, why I do what I do. And like I said, that's, if you reach one person today, you know, or help somebody else understand, then this entire thing that we just did was worth it. You know, and we won't be able to make that complete empty feeling go away, but maybe next year we can celebrate a little more. We can, we can choose, we can make this more inclusive and really make you feel like this team, this university is your family as well. So you don't feel so alone.
I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but the whole stuff, this university, the whole athlete, I feel like home. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like home. I feel like I came here like at the first month, like all of them welcomed me, like the whole athlete, like DJ, like all of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like everyone was like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. So I feel that energy that like I'm away from home, but I feel like maybe this is home too.
Right.
And Coach Fields, I mean.
Yeah, she's all right.
She is, man, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's amazing. Hey, does anyone have any questions that y'all want to ask before we close up?
I have a question. Are there any practical things that the staff or the academics department can do to help accommodate for you? So any changes we can do during a time of Ramadan that would make it easier for you? You're talking about the full schedule, and I know that we moved practices to late in the evenings, but there's still a lot going on. So are there things that you've thought of when you were going through those days that was like, I wish I had this, or I wish this was available to me during this time?
It's the one thing that I thought about was moving my classes like from the morning, like closer to afternoon and after that, so that I can like the morning maybe I can like wake up a little bit later, like at 11 a.m. something like that, so that I can still have like more energy. And then if we did like a workout like at 10 p.m., I would still have time like to sleep the day after. So that was the thing, and also like to focus a little bit on food.
Gotcha.
That was yeah.
That makes sense. Gotcha.
When did you first start practicing? Because my son's 8, and I cannot imagine.
No, it's not.
He doesn't
yes.
listen at all. So trying to get your child to not so fast.
I start at 12, 11 years old. That's the age that like. There is no there is no one age that everyone should start with. They say like in between 10 and 13 years old. So you have the 3 years. So I start like with just fasting a week at the beginning, and next year I finish it like 3 weeks. The year after I finish it like the whole Ramadan. So it started like this, like at 10 years old, 5 days, 2 days, 1 week, and you get like a award for that and stuff. So it's just like that. And by 13 or 14 years old, you will be able to fast like for the whole month.
Wow. Pretty good. Any other questions?
I can understand, what he's going through with the shift in the cultural. I mean, I've been here since I was 19 years old. I'm 53 years old now, and even with me talking sometimes, you in your head, you know what you're saying, but it's not coming out the way you want it to come out. The family, when it comes to the family, that kind of stuff, I know that with us, we are very connected with family, and not having that here, I can see that, because I remember when I just came up here, I was like, all I'm concentrating on is the calendar, just ticking down the days to go back home. The food, everything is different. I never, got used to the food, that kind of stuff. I'm just like relying on, what I'm used to, until like I go home and then come back. Still wasn't used to, because I cook my own Jamaican food. But, I can understand the struggle, not having that close to family, and not having that, people understanding where you're coming from, you know, getting used to a whole new thing. So, you know, I sympathize with you, you know, when it comes to stuff like that. And just know that, you know, you're not alone. You know, you have everybody here to support you, you know, and I would love to, like, next year, you know, when it comes back around to that time for you again, and hopefully we have another compatriot from your country here with you as well, you know, to be there to support you in any kind of way that I can, and especially coming off of it, not having the family around, you know, we can, as a, you know, team or group or whatever, you know, make something up so you can feel like, you know, you have that, you know, kind of environment that you need to have, not at home, but here at your new home.
Use some recipes from your mom.
Yes.
That part. I'll take some.
We did do a Moroccan
A little
tea
bit of
party,
time.
and he made us tea. It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very
Really?
good. Yeah, you guys don't have to try.
You made tea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drank it.
Sell it. I love it. Anything else? All right, good. I mean, just to close up, like I said, it takes courage, one, to sit up here and just kind of to be willing to open up, and because now you're sharing your vulnerabilities, you're sharing, you know, the parts that scare you, the parts where you're uncomfortable, but you're also sharing the beauty and the strengths of everything that make you you. I know everybody in this room is grateful for the education, the sharing, and like I said, you know, I think moving forward, we can be better for you, we can be better for anyone that comes after you, and that's what this is all about, is how do we make OU, this department, and each and every individual's life better. So, like I said, you know, I can't thank you enough for you know, being willing to do this, because like I said, that's a big role, and you know, we really appreciate it. So let's give them a hand of. All right, that's it. Thank you. All right. Doc, what you think?